Dear professionals, welcome to my channel Bharat's Pharmacy. So in this channel, I'm going to explain various pharmacy related topics like pharmaceutics, pharmaceutical biotechnology, pharmaceutical microbiology, and etc. So in my first topic, here I'm going to explain about the Galenicals. So from my B.Pharm time onwards, the topic Galenicals, the way Galen was executed his preparation and the methodology was adopted for preparing the concentrated preparation. It was impressed to me, and that's what my first video I'm starting with Galenicals and various extraction methods. So what do you mean by Galenicals? Galenicals. Any preparation which is prepared according to Galen's formula, those preparations are called Galenicals. And to understand more topics related to Galenicals, we should know some basic terminologies. So this slide it explains most of the terminologies associated in Galenicals. The first concept is extraction. Extraction is nothing but a separation of active constituent from an insoluble residue. The residue, it may be a liquid or it may be a solid material. And the next concept in Galenicals is maceration. Any drug, when you wet with a solvent, it's called maceration. Or simply, it's just make moist condition. This maceration, we have simple maceration, double maceration, and triple maceration. So both double and triple maceration process is used for preparing concentrated preparation. And imbibition is a part of percolation. So during this time, the drug is moistened with a menstruum because a dry drug, that when you pour menstruum directly on it, the extraction it won't be efficient. So that is why before the process of extraction, he made the preparations or the raw materials. The crude drug is imbibed with a little amount of menstruum. You should understand what you mean by menstruum. And in today's term, we say it's a solvent or the vehicle which is used for the extraction process. Percolation is the other method was adapted for preparing the other preparation. Here, it's a downward displacement of the saturated solution formed during maceration process. In simple maceration, the gallon was not used any specific apparatus, just a simple beaker was used for the extraction. Whereas percolation was used a percolator apparatus for extracting the active constituent. And during this process, the saturated solution is passed through the column of drug. And mark is nothing but the exhausted drug. So the drug material which remains after extraction, that's called a mark. So during the Galenicals, there are various topics like infusion, decoction, and maceration process, a single maceration, and how made a single maceration into the make the preparation into more concentrated who was adapted double and triple maceration and percolation process which is used by the apparatus percolator. Here a simple percolation and even who made a preparation into more concentrated by using a percolator apparatus, a little modification in this percolation procedure. So to make this preparation into more concentrated, who adapted two, three techniques. The first one is reserved percolation process and modified percolation process and continuous hot percolation or oxidation or the continuous cold percolation and also the various types of extracts and the tinctures made by the gallons preparation. So to understand most of the topics in the previous slide, so you should know most of the terminologies which is associated with Galenicals as well as the basic principle of extraction. So what is extraction? The separation of the active constituent from the raw material. That raw material, it may be a liquid or it may be a solid. If it is liquid, it is called liquid extraction, and if it is solid, it is called solid liquid extraction. So since most of the extracts, the gallon was prepared by using a raw material, plant raw material. So where the assets, the leaf material you cannot use are the raw woody or the roots or stems. You cannot use it as such. So you have to go for the suitable size reduction. The term suitable size reduction need to be very careful. So you cannot make the leaf material into too fine, because a coarse leaf material, a coarse particle which gives a maximum extraction than the fine size reduction, because the leaf material it is containing more than one active constituents. So when you start extracting the active constituents, if you go for fine size reduction, there are so much unwanted active constituent it will come into your extract. So separation of that active constituent it will become much difficult. Even though you are using selective solvent extraction, so too much fine size reduction, it is not advisable for a drug material. But at the same time, it depends on the type of active constituent dispersion and the type of raw material which you are using. So the second step of the extraction is the penetration of the drug by the menstruum. So menstruum, I already told, it's nothing but it's a solvent. You take raw material and pour menstruum. So the menstruum it starts entered into the drug, especially in case of organized drug. It takes some time to enter into the cell. So that is nothing but it is the penetration of the menstruum into the solvent, or simply you can say it is endoosmosis. And after a period of time, the menstruum it takes up the active constituent within the cell, in case if it is organized drug, and it becomes solution. And once it's become a solution, the concentration difference into the outside environment and within the cell, it makes or it forces the solution to come out of the cell, so that the extraction process is continuing without any other additional aid or method. So by the time the solution is coming out of from the cell, it is called as exoosmosis. So here the escaping of dissolved material through the cell wall and through the solvent boundary layer, which is surrounded by the particles of the drug. And finally, you can go for a separation of the solution from the exhausted drug. That is nothing but it is the mark. So more than a theoretical explanation. So here I'll explain you with the pictorial representation. So this is the raw material or the leaf material, where inside the pink dots, it's nothing but it is the active constituent what it is present in the leaf material. And this is the one, the fluid or the solvent in terms of Galenical, it is called as menstruum. During maceration process, gallon was used a simple beaker or apparatus, specific apparatus. Assume you took a raw material which is gone for a fine size reduction or coarse size reduction, depend upon the raw material, and then you pour a menstruum. And at the time when you pour a menstruum, you see the solvent particle, it enters into the raw material, and then it takes up this the pink color or the active constituents, and then it becomes solution. And at one point of time, the solution it starts coming out and the menstruum it going inside until the complete extraction process is takes place. So this is what the theory of extraction. And at the end of the period, generally for leaf material, in case if it is maceration process, it is 2 to 7 days. Suppose if the drug material is just resins and gums, even you can complete your extraction process in 2 days. And finally, you can go for separation of the insoluble material or the residue. So this is the one. Now you see there is no pink dots here because all the active constituent is extracted into the menstruum. So that's why now this is called as a mark, a complete exhausted material. And you will be having the solution which is containing the active constituent. So in simple term, it is called as extract. So still I want to give you some more explanation about the endoosmosis and exoosmosis. So assume here the green color one, it is the leaf material, and inside the one, the dot, black color dot is nothing but it is the active constituent, and the outside environment is full of solvent. So during the process of immersion of the raw material into the menstruum, what is happening? the solvent, it starts enter into the cell. That process is nothing but it is the endoosmosis. So during this process, the solvent, it takes up the active constituent and it solubilizes the active constituent and it becomes solution within the cell. Now you see within the cell it has become a solution and the outside environment is solvent, and because of this concentration difference, automatically the solution it starts coming out along with the active constituent, and the fresh solvent it enters into the cell. So both exoosmosis and endoosmosis it takes place simultaneously until the complete extraction process is happening. So to understand all the process of galenicals like the infusion preparation or maceration or percolation, so the process of this or the theory of extraction or the mechanism of extraction is very basic. So after understanding this, you see the other videos of this galenicals, you can understand better about a complete extraction process. So thank you for watching this video. You can comment and subscribe for more topics related to Galenicals. If you need PPT or study material, leave request in the comment section. Thank you, listeners.